Alright, in this tape we're going to be explaining to you a little bit about the workings of the Mook or wooden man dummy. This is a very important training tool to the Wing Chun system, and we use it not so much for power training, although there is some power training involved, or even for toughening the hands, although that's also involved. The primary function of the wooden dummy is to serve as a mold to which you place your techniques, or against which you place your techniques. In other words, if we didn't have a wooden dummy to practice with, we might not know exactly where in space our two hands should relate. If we did an individual technique, we might not know if, well, should I be like this? Should it be like this? Should they be this far apart? How would I know? So the wooden dummy provides us with a sort of a mold to fit up against. So it tells us, okay, that's where my hands want to be. They don't want to be here and there and everywhere. So it's very important for giving you the angular and spatial relationships between your hands. The most advanced type of wooden dummy training is the third form of Wing Chun, known as Mook Fat Ling Bat, or 108 wooden dummy motions. This set drills the basic blocks, strikes, and kicks, as well as many of the complex blocking, attacking, and kicking motions found in the three empty hand sets of Wing Chun. It contains grabbing, trapping, sweeping, and throwing movements, and many of its techniques feature examples of simultaneous attack and defense, which is a common characteristic of Wing Chun. Certain motions of the form are designed to improve the trainee's sticky hand and foot skills, as the hand and feet cling to the dummy arms and leg while moving from one position to another. The dummy set also introduces the element of contact not found in the empty hand sets. Although the concepts of grabbing, deflection, and trapping while hitting are illustrated in the hand forms, they can be practiced more realistically in the dummy set. As its name implies, the wooden dummy form, like all other Wing Chun sets, is comprised of exactly 108 movements, that number having special significance in Chinese lunar mathematics, religion, and superstition. However, due to some restructuring of the form by the late Grandmaster Yip Man, the total number of wooden dummy techniques has been increased to 116. This resulted from the addition of 8 families of kicks, as well as some overall rearrangement of the base 108. It appears that Grandmaster Yip felt that some motions were overly repeated, while certain other techniques he had learned from his two masters, Chan Hua Sun and Liang Bek, had been omitted. So not only was the last section added, but the main body of the form was rebalanced by Grandmaster Yip. This may account for the fact that students who learn from the Grandmaster at different periods seem to have learned the form in slightly different patterns. For example, the 108 motions practiced and taught by my teacher, Sifu Augustine Fong of Tucson, Arizona, who was the top student of Master Ho Kam Ming, himself a top student and longtime friend of Grandmaster Yip, contains many movements as yet unseen in the forms of other Yip Man descendants. As you'll see in the form that I'm executing here, motions such as Jun Ba, which is a shoulder block, Tai Sut, which is a raising knee strike, Fok Sut and Tan Sut, which are inward and outward knee blocks, and Bong Ge, which is a wing leg deflection. All practical, real, recognizably Wing Chun style movements abound within the text of Sifu Fong's 108. Variance from school to school in the pattern of the 108 is not unusual. In fact, the student will find that on close inspection, the dummy form of each major Wing Chun group will vary slightly in some cases and considerably in others. Sequence is not of great importance, so long as the principles of technique, timing, power, and angle structure are adhered to. The application for the low gum could be if Ricardo was attacking the low level with a lead jab, I could step back and use the gum sao to stop that punch, trapping him on the center line. Now at speed, that's going to look like this. Now another application for the gum sao motion is from prior bridge contact, pressing the opponent's hand down. For example, if I had attacked and Ricardo had stopped that attack with his wu sao motion, what I can do there is, without losing the bridge contact between our hands, just convert to a gum sao press into a punch. So at speed, that would look like this. And another way of using the gum sao motion is what I call plant trap hit, or controlling the opponent's hand after a successful kicking attack. You see, if I've kicked Ricardo's lead leg and I fall forward, I've got a lot of descending momentum that I could capitalize on. So what I want to do is, after having kicked, use that descending momentum to trap him and kick. So at speed, something like that would look like this. Another application for the gum sao motion is as a re-trap to a previously trapped hand. For example, if Ricardo gave me the lead jab and I used the tanda to stop it, I can continue trapping that same hand and come in with my second shot using gum sao. So it's going to look like this at speed. Now, there is a difference between gum sao and pak sao. When you use the hand to slap and your hand is higher than the level of the elbow, that's called pak sao. But when your hand drops to below the level of the elbow, that's called gum sao. All right, the pak sao tiu gyuk motion can be used to simultaneously stop the jab and kick the low line coming around the lead knee. Now at speed, that would look like this. Another application for the tiu gyuk is to break the opponent's stance from the back. So when the jab comes in, I can attack the back of the knee and break the stance down. Okay? At speed, that would look like this. All right, the same kick can be used to attack the ribs from the roll. So my low foot becoming a grab, kick. All right, once again, at speed, it's going to look like this. All right, the application for the jing ngao gyuk, or straight hooking foot, would be after a successful kick to the groin area, I would use my foot to hook from the back and pull my opponent into a strike. So at speed, that would look like this. All right, another application for that hooking foot motion is when my opponent goes with a round kick and I move back away from it so that when it misses me, he falls just past me. I use the kick from the back and again pull the opponent in to another strike. So at speed, that's going to look like this. All right, the next motion, the pak da fu ngan kun, with the kick, would be applied when the punch comes. I can pak, kick, and hit with the phoenix eye one knuckle punch. And you'll see that the one knuckle is protruding further than the rest of the fist, so that all the knuckles of the fist would be buried into the target, but the one knuckle would go into the eye. At speed, that's going to look like this. Another way of using the phoenix eye punch is to combine it with the fak sao principle, the upward springing chop, which allows you to then strike upward with the one knuckle, or inward or outward with a whipping motion. So at speed, the hand is whipped with one knuckle, extending forward into the target. All right, the jut da motion can also be applied as a spin hit after a successful strike. For example, if Ricardo's jab comes in and I use my own biu zhong sao to stop it and come into the hit, I can then grab the hair and use the jut da principle to pull with one hand and hit with the other. Okay, so at speed, that's going to look like this. Alright, the short power Jing-Jiang strike can be used as follows. When the jab comes in, I can stop that with the futsal motion and then step in without retracting my hand and just use the power that I can create using footwork and a snap of the elbow. So at speed, that's going to look like this. Another application of that same motion, the short power Jing-Jiang vertical palm strike, would be after a 1-2 Yet Fuk Yi series here. Without retracting my rear hand, I can go straight in and have plenty of power supplemented by the elbow and the footwork. So at speed, that's going to look like this. The application for the Gyeong-Ji-kun, which means ginger fist, which is named for the fist's resemblance to the scalloped edge of a ginger root, can be this way. When Ricardo's punch comes in, I might have used Tanda Fansao to stop that. Now, his chin might be brought down a bit by my chop, so there's not a whole lot of space